And, you know, granted, I do know that there's a bigger portion of the LOR community that just plays Path of Champions, and I respect those people. You know, I personally just enjoy the idea of playing in a more realistic, grounded card game versus a more fantastical. I get to do whatever, slap my dick on the table. You can't really do nothing to stop me type of gameplay. Because you know, when I play card games like that, like Slay the Spire, they make it balanced because the people I'm going against are just as broken, if not more broken than me. So when I get broken cards and broken strategies, it's because that's how you balance out the game. Because at some point they just get too good. And POC, it feels like they just make really basic plays, and it kind of gets a little insulting to my intelligence. But that's just my opinion on the matter, right? And I know like there's a lot of content creators that also kind of dabble with it occasionally, but they don't commit a lot of time to it either, right? Most, if not all, commit to ladders, and there aren't that many people who actually play normals. And again, it's just more of that whole, I want to play you at your best, and I want to also get a good feeling of what I need to do to improve my strategy against the decks that I should be worried about. So my deck should be well-rounded enough to deal with control strategies, aggro strategies, mid-range strategies. It should be able to handle it all. And if it's not, cool. How do I make sure that it can, round itself out against those matchups? It may not win every single matchup, but how do I round it out to make sure that it can do at least well in those matchups? And that's why a lot of people go to ladder. So I don't think rotation is going to help the game in any way, shape, or form. I did have a friend, though, who did make the argument that, by having rotation in the game, you help make the game easier to balance, like We the People was mentioning earlier. But also, it helps encourage new cards, new strategies, new decks, and things like that. So imagine if you've been a deep player since it was first introduced, and you have not switched off that deck since. You could consistently get up to Masters with deep. There are a lot of people in Masters right now who just play deep. So if that deck was rotated out, they gotta, if they don't want to give up playing Legends of Runeterra, they have to start playing a new deck. And for some people, that might be an excuse for them to get familiar with new champions, new strategies, new things. But for others, I feel like it's going to have a very negative effect. People don't like change that much. People like what they like. And unless it's something new that they're interested in, by forcing change on them, it's going to have a very negative side effect on the community.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Tim.
We got something else.
We are talking about rotation coming to Legends of Runeterra, and why we don't think that that might be the correct move for this community specifically. Because Legends of Runeterra is a champion-based game, right? It is not based on archetypes or strategies and stuff like that. It's based on the champions, and they pilot those archetypes. So, for instance, you love Galio, right, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say I rotated Galio out of Legends of Runeterra. Would you be interested in playing it still?
Probably not.
And how often would you say on average that you play Legends of Runeterra?
Not often.
Right. So if I took out the only reason for you to ever even boot up the game, would you even touch it anymore?
Probably not.
And, then there it is, right? Live testimony from a more casual person who dabbles with LOR. And a lot of people dabble with LOR, right? There are people who go hard into the paint for it, like myself and We the People, Bam Bam Boy, and so many others. And then there are more casual people who just enjoy playing their favorite champions as a card because it's cool. Let's see.
Yep.
I've seen people with
I
over
couldn't agree more,
100K
honestly.
mastery points on certain champs. Imagine how sick they'll feel when those champions get removed. Oh my god. Yeah. Like myself, I have about like what I don't even know who's my highest mastery champion actually. I tend to play a pretty diverse cast of characters. They're roughly around each other. Azir is my highest.
Oh,
with
wow.
35.
My Azir's my highest too.
Yeah, Azir is my highest with 35. Then Akshan with 30. Then Aurelion Sol with 21. Shyvana with 21. And Riven with 18k. So for the longest time, I was a dragon pilot because in most card games, I love playing dragons. So that was a no-brainer for me. To be perfectly honest, I didn't even play Shyvana in League of Legends, but because she was the face of dragons, I started playing her. Now, Aurelion Sol I did play in Legends and LOL, yeah, and League, yeah, I did play him. I'm definitely big hype for the rework that they're doing for him because the original Aurelion Sol is pretty not as exciting. You're kiting most of the time with that character, and that's not the most exciting kit to watch. You do well with him, cool, but most of the time it's not that exciting. But in Legends of Runeterra, when you drop that motherfucker, oh my god, you felt like a fucking god. You like, boom, nigga, he is 10-10 with Spell Shield and Fury. What you finna do against this big ass dragon? Right? It feels fucking cool to drop him in this game. Right? There's a numerous amount of champions in LOR that I play that I don't play in League. Like, I don't play Nasus. I don't play Zoe. I don't play Pantheon or Talia. I've never even touched Renekton out of the fucking 10 years that I've been playing League of Legends. I've never even touched that fucking character. And so on and so forth. But they made them so cool and interesting that I went back over to the other game and had played them and was like, huh, they're actually pretty fun. Right? So, I don't know. He is a Celestial after all, but so is Soraka. Yeah, but Soraka got a big ass booty. She come down with fucking 1/6, bro. That's pretty huge for a fucking 3-drop. I have 12 characters with over 20k.
Definitely does the most.
Yeah, she got a big ass booty.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I didn't imagine the rotation conversation being super long. I did wanted someone to play devil's advocate. Unfortunately, the guy who was more in favor of the rotation is not here. We might be able to get him for an interview later down the road, but right now it's just the people who are kind of more along the lines of, I don't know, Chief, that might not be it. Because right now, if you ask most of us, we're pretty much like, yeah, that's that. I don't know, right? I'm all about learning, adapting, growing, and becoming better from just doing. Not
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of the same way. I kind of have a fighting game background too, so I kind of feel the same way. Like I'm not sitting around waiting for Riot to nerf champions, right? I'm literally just gonna. All right, well, Nora does this. All right, well, guess what? I'm just gonna counter it.
Exactly.
Like that's just me personally. Like I adapt to things. I adapt to it. I learn. I try to understand, and then I go for the attack. Like that's just me. So.
All right. Well, I think we covered most of all of the rotation discussing. We're pretty much not in favor of the change. If you guys didn't get a chance to see this part of the conversation, you guys can check it out on YouTube. These are going to be split up into multiple videos, so you guys can go back and go rewatch it. We're going to edit it right after we're done with this. So, have fun with that. It's not going to be super long. I'm going to make sure they're consumable bites. So you can sit down 10 minutes, watch one part, go to the next one, so on and so forth. But on to the last discussion of the night. We are talking about the current state of the game and what are the big dogs on the block right now and how are you trying to beat them. So,
well, I'll say I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you good?
I feel like here I have a lot to talk about.
Ooh,
Not gonna lie.
Okay.
So, just my opinion. I think, and I think we kind of alluded to it earlier. Nami is the best card in the game. Not gonna lie. I feel like it's not even up for debate.
Ooh.
No cap. Nami's broken. She's been broken for so long. She's been the most broken champion in the game, honestly. It's been like that for so long.
I feel like she suffered from the same Lee Sin thing, though, where it's like you need to see that champion for your deck to come alive, though.
Yeah, but then it's like if you do, it's just broken. Like, it's actually just absurd. Like, imagine, like, there's never been another strategy in the game where you could literally have the champ and one other like follower and just like buff it to some crazy number and just going for the kill.
I don't know
if
you've been watching
another champion like that. Like,
yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, Mr. Depressor, I don't know if you've been watching like seasonals or invitationals or like the actual big tournaments where they play for the cash prizes. Most people who are running the Nami Zoes or Nami Fizz and other Nami strategies, they were desperately searching for those Namis. And every time they did not see it, they got smoked. They was in that bitch like, damn, bro, it's turn 15. Where the fuck is my Nami? Shit, that's a good ass question. I wish I can answer that for you.
and I'll say this. I'm to be honest, I'm not really a Lee enjoyer, but at least Lee Sin needs Overwhelm to actually do his thing.
Yeah.
Like, he needs Overwhelm. If he doesn't have Overwhelm, he can't OTK you.
Yeah.
Wait, Nami, all you need is spells. Like, that's fucking broken.
Yeah.
You just need spells. And that's not a deck building cost. That's just playing the game.
Yeah.
that is so stupid in my opinion. Like, I think Nami, this is like the top 3 champions. For me, right? Well, right now. We're not talking about the game in general. We're talking right now.
Okay.
I think top 3 champions: Nami, Action, and then it's probably an assortment of different champions for number 3. But if you were to ask me personally, it is probably Lee Sin right now.
Okay. If I had to put my 2 cents in, I would probably say that definitely Lee Sin is definitely up there. I feel like Heimerdinger is definitely a very powerful pick right now. I don't know if he's going to stay like that because he has metas where he's like really, really strong and sees a lot of playability. And then there are other times where he's just not that good. So right now, currently, I would definitely want to say Heimerdinger as probably number 3. Number 2, I would probably give that to I'd probably say I want to give that to probably Sivir and or Akshan. Both of them are kind of interchangeable, but either one of them would definitely be in that particular situation because Sivir wants you to swing wide so she can really abuse the fact that she gets all of your units the same keywords that she has. So that can, really change the course of the game. Action is supposed to generate you free advantage, right? And both of them kind of do the same thing. It's just one does it by themselves, where the other one can make your whole entire board more useful. So that's why I said that they're kind of interchangeable depending on what type of strategy you want to go for. So number 3, Heimerdinger. Number 2, Sivir or Akshan. And then number 1, like the best champion in the game, in my opinion, right now. And I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna be kind of controversial, but I definitely want to get that one to Nora. Her introducing the whole portal strategy, I feel like definitely changed a lot about the game. Because, again, I don't have to commit mana to summoning free units. I just got to draw them. So I just draw, boom, free units. And the worst part is that if the portal activates and my board is stacked, that card gets to come into my hand. So I get a free unit that I did not have before just because my board is stacked. That's so fair. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Obviously, like I said, I feel like that might be controversial, but that's just my opinion of where the game state is and who are the cards that you should be worried about.
Damn, you really don't like Nora and Heimerdinger. I honestly, I don't even think that deck is good.
Really?
I don't even think that deck is good. Honestly. What does that deck do against Nami?
They kill her.
That's the thing. You kill Nami, right? And then all I do is use all my spells on other things.
That's if you got a handful of bursts.
Why would I not play her and not have spells to play?
That's true. Yeah, but remember, the one of the biggest cons to Nami is that you need to have enough mana to do what you're trying to do, and then B, also have enough spells that's fast enough to react to what your opponent is about to do to your Nami.
I mean, in that same regards, there's way more cons to Nora and also Heimer. Heimer is a 5 mana card that you need to develop, and then you need to play spells after, which is like 5 mana is so much mana. Nora, on the other hand, like, she is easy to level up, yes, and she does have the best keyword in the game, yes, which is elusive, but it's a board centric deck. That's the thing. It's a board centric deck. Like, what is Nora gonna do? What is a Nora deck gonna do against Lee Sin? You go for vengeance, I just deny you. Now what?
Oh, well, they don't have to necessarily go for the vengeance. They do have other ways of dealing with problematic cards. Now, a champion like Lee Sin, yeah, they probably definitely gonna have to commit the vengeance to him, just because they gotta deal damage to him, and I don't think there's any damaging spells that will be able to deal 5 from Shadow Owls that would be able to kill him on something that doesn't commit like 6 or more.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you're trading a vengeance for deny, which is always better for Ionia.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I could see you hating Nora for sure. I could definitely see you hating Nora because of portals. But I don't think they're gonna. This is just my opinion. I don't think they're gonna release more portals. I really don't. I mean,
we thought the same thing with chimes, but they introduced more chime stuff too. They introduced new chime support, and this.
I mean, then they also straight up nerfed chimes because they only proc in your deck after turn 3. So it's kind of fine now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't think Nora and Heimer is on the same level as, like, we're talking about. Well, I don't know, because we are talking about, you're talking more about ladder, and I'm talking more about competitive. I'm talking about people that literally, like, they're not gonna play Lee Sin unless they have protection.
Yeah,
right.
but
They're not gonna play Nami unless they have a full hand of spells to use on elusive and kill you.
But what about that time frame where Heimerdinger and Jace was a thing? They just replaced Jace with Nora. That was pretty much it.
But this is just my opinion. I think it's a much worse deck without Jace.
Really?
And the reason why is because Jace is able to basically be a 4-mana. Like, Jace can double as a 4-mana removal spell that then turns into a Karma later. Like, that's disgusting. Like, Nora's not giving you value. Like, Nora's giving you value, but once you lose your board, like, what are you gonna do? Or what if I'm like a Lee Sin deck or like a OTK deck? What if I'm playing like Action Infinite? What are you gonna do? Like, there are so many combo decks in the game that a strategy that's like board centric can't always do the job. That's just my opinion.
Interesting. So what would you say right now, currently, is the deck to beat? So from your tournament experience and from your ladder experience, what is the deck to beat?
I mean, best deck right now is definitely there's a Nora Nami TF deck. I think that is probably the best deck right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Like, I think that is probably the best deck right now. Like, literally.
And I've gone against that a couple times too. That definitely feels very unfair.
Yeah, like it's like pretty much whatever champion you draw, you just play your deck around it, and then you're just able to protect it and win the game. Because Ionia support is just like keep your unit alive, or whatever hard removal they have, you're just able to keep your unit alive just long enough. And then if it's some crazy spell like Vengeance, Runation, dot card, you just deny it.
Yeah.
Or at worst, you just bounce your card back to hand or whatever. Like, at worst.
Champion, I feel like, has seen a lot more play this patch than ever before is definitely TF. There has been times where like TF has been like super meta defining, but I want to say about maybe 4, maybe 5 patches in a row, he definitely was nowhere to be seen, and it was very difficult to see to pilot him. But recently, a lot of top strategies have been using TF. What do you feel like he's at right now in terms of a champion?
Honestly, this is just my opinion. I think TF is so versatile that it's hard to create a deck around TF anymore. He's just like a tool. He's just like a Swiss Army knife. Like, he's whatever you need him to do, that's what he's doing. That's usually what he's adding to these decks, right? He's like the glue between the bricks to glue it together. Cause like, you hear Nami and you hear Lee Sin and you're like, okay, how does this work together? And then you hear TF and you're like, oh, okay. Like, that's how I see TF. He's the glue. He's the glue to bring strategies together. Because like, you need a card on 4 mana to kill aggro, you got red card. You need to draw more cards, you got blue card. You need to stun something, you got gold card. Like,
yeah,
that's just TF. He's just a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, and the interesting thing right now is like the top 50 players on ladder right now, like in terms of the top 50 decks, they're all piloting a TF engine in there. And I feel like right now that is more prevalent than ever before of what you're saying right now. Him being the glue to help stick together these pieces to help make these decks come alive. Because before he was a protected castle type of card, but now he's in a state where he doesn't matter. He just helps you get to that piece that's going to actually help you win that game.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that they literally nerfed Kaisa, and then she's probably like top 5 though still, but
I feel like the change to her focus spell was definitely needed, right? That was a little too strong from before, but man, you just do like people just really underestimate how powerful spell speeds matter in card games. Because so when that happens, man, like it can really change the play rate and viability of a character entirely. Look at this situation, you know?
Yeah,
like,
she went from the best champ to like I would say, like I said, I think she's still top 5 in my opinion. I think
I get
like
that.
if we were to expand it from top 3 to top 5, I think 4 is probably TF and 5 is Kaisa. I think Kaisa's in top 5.
Oh yeah. You know what? I couldn't agree more with that. Oh my goodness, that is such an accurate.
So if we're just like spitballing, my top 5 would be definitely Nami. What did I say for 2? Ezreal's up there too, but I don't think he's. I think he's okay. Honestly, probably not, but I think he's okay.
I mean, he ain't never not been played since he came out, though.
True. Like, there's always gonna be a strategy that's like, oh well, I guess I just have all these cards at target. Well, I guess you're honestly, as long as Ken is in the game, Ezreal's in the game. Honestly. Like, it's 0 mana. It's 0 mana. I don't know what they were thinking. 0 mana.
Well, we don't know that for sure. It might go up to 1.
Hopefully, honestly.
But even at
honestly,
1, that's still really
Ezreal
strong.
might be, honestly, no cap. Without Kennan's spell being 0, Ezreal we might actually have balance for Ezreal. No cap.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even joking. Like, for real.
Yeah, no.
Because zero mana targets that's just way too strong for him. Like, he could honestly be target 10 cards and it would still be a deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real. It like, no cap. It could be you've targeted 10 enemies throughout the game and he would still see play. Because 0 mana targeted card is busted.
Yeah, and he was saying, like, man, imagine if Ruination was a burst speed spell. Oh my goodness.
Hey, yo. Who hurt you?
Bro, I was like, bro, that sound like you need to go see a therapist. Not even gonna lie to you, bro. And you just like, dang, that's crazy. You just built up this board, Ruination.
Hey, yo, Ruination at burst speed. Honestly, I don't even know if I played the game. Not gonna lie,
bro. That's like activating. That's like having a quick play spell of Dark Hole. Like,
yeah,
what?
that sounds.
There is no card game that gives you that type of spell speed to remove that many units. It's like, hey, I see you over there building, using resources to make your board all cool and stuff. It'd be a shame if I activate this one card to delete everything on your board right now. All of it, gone. And because it belongs to Shadow Owl, you know they're going to have last breath units on the board. So they're going to benefit from them killing all of your units and theirs. But yeah, that's a hypothetical we never want to go down. Don't even throw that towards the developer's way, bro. Because I swear to God, if they ever do some shit like that, there's gonna be so many people who's gonna take a break from League at that point. I mean, League, Lore.
100%. I would take a break. I would definitely take a break. I would be like, all right, I'll come back when they figure out why Ruination doesn't need to be burst speed.
Bro, like, I'm like, what are you on? What are you smoking?
Like I'll come back when they figure out why Nation doesn't need to be breastfeed. All right, so I'm sorry. I butchered my top 5, but this is my top 5 champions in the game. Nami, Action, definitely top 2 for sure. God damn it, I keep forgetting number 3. Fuck. It's just in my head. Fuck. I'm sorry. Who did you say for number 4? Oh, Lee Sin. Lee Sin's number 3.
Yeah, and we said TFS 4 and Kai'Sa
and
5.
TF is 4 and yeah, Kai'Sa's.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you on the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
The only reason why I had put Heimerdinger at number 3 is because he just generates like some really, really cool advantage. And from the advantage of him generating, because like, here's the thing, right? You run spot removal cards in your deck to get rid of problematic cards that your opponent run. By me committing this mana, I'm normally supposed to be at go neutral with you because you invested so much into that unit. But because Heimerdinger exists, I commit whatever I committed and then generate a free unit that has a powerful keyword. So, for instance, on average, most of the strongest cards in the game tend to be around 6 to 7 mana, right? My 6 mana spell is going to generate an elusive unit that is 6/1. 6/1. I get to hit your Nexus for almost, what is that, like more than 1/4 of the damage. And if you ain't got nothing to check it, I'm just punching you in your throat constantly. And I get to do that continuously. So even if you deal with that 1, I activate another 6 spell card, like Mini Morph, Vengeance, so on and so forth, and do it again. And I don't know, infinite value cards like that is just really hard to not want to put on my top, just because most cards in card games do what they're supposed to do, and that's about it. But cards that continuously generate advantage tend to get nerfed, banned, or removed from the game because they're unhealthy. So guys like Heimerdinger is healthy because of the fact that you have to commit so much. But once you pay the barrier of entry of getting him on the board, he's going to just start generating you advantage. You pay 1 mana, you get a 1 mana creature. You pay 2 mana, you get a 2 mana creature, and so on and so forth. So from that point on, everything that I do, I get something for it. And it's basically free because I got to activate that spell, which I was going to do anyway, and now I get to add a unit on top of that. And from me playing these units, I help level this character up, which in turns make the units that I'm dropping even bigger. And that's why I feel like infinite value champions, like another one, Action, has such high play rates right now. Action, TF, and so on and so forth. They have so much play rate because they generate so much advantage from the time that they're on the board, right? So one of the things that I had mentioned in one of my other videos was that the reason why Riot is moving further and further away from heavy cost champions is because that champion, you have to commit so much resources to bring them out. And then once they come out, they have to make such a huge impact to generate the amount of resources that you put into them back onto your opponent. So for instance, when I dump 6 mana to bring out J4, he's coming over and hitting your biggest unit on the board, right? So that can be impactful. Nasus, when I drop him, after I've slayed enough units, he comes out as 10/10. And it's not like we're in a meta where everybody's running Targon anymore, so I don't have to worry about Hush as much anymore, because Targon was really the only one that had something to silence Nasus. Outside of Targon, he can run rampant. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, right? Somebody like Aso, he's 10 mana, but he comes out with a spell shield. So not only do you have to waste enough mana to proc, you have to proc the spell shield, and then you have to kill the champion. So you're at least committing, if you're playing Shadow Isles, you're at least committing 8 mana. And for Bounder City, you gotta commit. I don't even know if no, you can use Group Shot, which is 1, so you commit about 7 mana, but you gotta commit a heavy amount of mana to get rid of those guys, right? But then you got guys like Hecarim, who has to commit to an attack. So when I drop him, you can just Vengeance, and then I didn't get anything from him. And he didn't give me any advantage for what I had wanted to use that champion for. So he didn't come out, do his effect, make a difference in the game. He had to come out, wait for my opponent, then come back to me, then commit an attack. That they can't do that type of stuff, because by you committing 6 mana, he has to make that impact, because that's more than half your mana bar. We only got 10 mana to work with, and you're committing 6 of that to summon this one unit, and you have to hope that this unit stays on board until you get to attack. Then from that point, you don't give a shit if he dies, because he did his job. But if he doesn't, well, you shit out of luck. That's your whole turn, more than likely.